Chosen one. Before this message found you, something was already shifting. You felt it. The distance, the silence, the subtle tension in rooms where your name had already been spoken before you arrived. They smiled at you, but something was off. They supported you, but something felt rehearsed. They clapped, but their eyes carried calculation. Chosen one, you were never paranoid. You were discerning, because conversations were happening, decisions were being made, narratives were being constructed, and you were the topic. They analyzed you, they labeled you, they reduced you, they predicted your failure. Some said you were delusional, some said you were unstable, some said you would never rise, some said your time had passed before it even began. But here is what they never understood. Heaven was listening. Every whisper, every exaggeration, every lie, every distorted version of your character, recorded. Chosen one, you thought silence meant defeat. It didn't. Silence was evidence being gathered. And now the season is shifting. Because God is about to expose every lie they told about you. And when it happens, it won't be subtle. It will be undeniable. They spoke in rooms you never entered. Chosen one. There were rooms your feet never stepped into, yet your name filled the air inside them. Conversations shifted the moment you left. Decisions were made about your character without your presence. They studied you quietly. They evaluated you secretly. They predicted your failure confidently. And the strange thing, you felt it. That invisible resistance, that subtle shift in energy, that unspoken tension when you walked into certain spaces. It wasn't paranoia, it was perception. Because while you were focused on purpose, they were focused on positioning. While you were building in silence, they were narrating your downfall. They said you were unstable. They said you were inconsistent. They said you were chasing something unrealistic. Chosen one, what unsettled them was not your weakness. It was your trajectory. You were growing in ways they couldn't measure. You were evolving beyond the version of you they were comfortable with. And when people can't control your growth, they attempt to control your reputation. So they rewrote you. They edited your story. They removed context. They exaggerated flaws. They created a digestible version of you that fit their insecurity. And some believed it. Some repeated it. Some added to it. Lies multiply when insecurity feeds them. Private conversations were happening. Screenshots were shared. Voice notes replayed. Familiar voices began to sound different. Support turned into subtle critique. Compliments became backhanded. They analyzed your tone. They questioned your motives. They mocked your faith. They predicted burnout. They predicted collapse. They whispered, "Just wait. It won't last." And perhaps what hurt the most was this. Some of them once celebrated you. But chosen one, not everyone who applauds your beginning can tolerate your becoming. Growth exposes insecurity, and your elevation became a mirror they didn't want to look into. But here is the twist. While they were speaking, heaven was recording. While they were predicting, God was preparing. While they were crafting lies, truth was being preserved. You mistook silence for abandonment. You thought God wasn't intervening, but silence was not absence. It was evidence being gathered. Every distortion has a timestamp. Every lie has a witness. Every whisper has an expiration date. And chosen one, lies require maintenance. They require consistency. They require reinforcement. And eventually, maintaining deception becomes exhausting. The cracks begin to show, the contradictions begin to surface, and truth, no matter how delayed, has endurance. They thought delay meant denial. They thought quiet meant defeat. They thought your restraint meant weakness. But what they miscalculated was divine timing. God does not rush exposure. He orchestrates it. He allows patterns to reveal themselves, He allows character to contrast itself. He allows time to test narratives. And when exposure comes, it is not emotional. It is undeniable. It is not dramatic. It is definitive. The same rooms that entertained distortion will witness clarity. The same mouths that spread rumor will struggle to explain reality. And chosen one, you will not need to defend yourself when revelation arrives. Because this is not about revenge. It is about reversal. The lie was a test of your identity. Chosen one, here is what most people will never understand. The lie was allowed. Not authored by God, but permitted by Him. And that changes everything. Because if God wanted to silence every false word instantly, He could. If He wanted to defend your name immediately, He would. But instead, He allowed misunderstanding. He allowed distortion. He allowed seasons where you were misread, mislabeled, and misjudged. Why? Because exposure is not only about them, it is also about you. The lie was a test, not of your reputation, but of your identity. Who are you when they misunderstand you? Who are you when they reduce you? Who are you when your name is spoken incorrectly? Chosen one, this was never just about gossip. This was about grounding. The false narratives forced you inward. They stripped you of external validation. They removed applause. They removed comfort. They removed the need to explain yourself to people committed to misunderstanding you. And slowly, painfully, you began to detach from approval. You began to detach from image. You began to anchor yourself somewhere deeper, somewhere quieter, somewhere unshakable. And that place, that was identity rooted in God, not in opinion. They expected you to react. They expected you to defend. They expected you to spiral. But you didn't. Not because it didn't hurt, but because something inside you was maturing. Chosen one, every time you chose restraint over reaction, you were being strengthened. Every time you remained silent instead of retaliating, you were being elevated. They mistook your composure for weakness. They mistook your silence for defeat. But restraint is not weakness. It is power under control. And God was watching how you handled misrepresentation. Because if He is about to elevate you publicly, He must ensure you are stable privately. The lie tested your insecurity. The lie tested your ego. The lie tested your patience. And perhaps there were nights you questioned yourself, nights you replayed conversations, nights you wondered if maybe they were right. Maybe you were too much. Maybe you were unrealistic. Maybe you were delusional. That internal battle was the real battlefield. Because the most dangerous lie is not the one spoken about you. It is the one you begin to believe about yourself. And the enemy of your purpose always aims for internal agreement before public destruction. But here is the twist. You didn't collapse. You recalibrated. You grew quieter, but stronger. You grew slower, but steadier. You grew hidden, but deeper. Chosen one, what they intended to destabilize you actually defined you. What they meant to weaken you refined you. Pressure did not break you. It clarified you. And now something has shifted. You no longer crave their understanding. You no longer need their validation. You no longer fear their narrative. And that is when exposure becomes safe. Because God will not expose lies if you still depend on the liars for approval. This next season is not about proving them wrong. It is about revealing who you became while they were talking. And Chapter 3 will uncover why the people who lied were never your real opposition. They were used, but they were not the source. Chosen one, you thought this battle was personal. You thought it was about personalities, jealousy, insecurity, betrayal, and yes, those elements were present. But they were not the root. The people who spoke against you were participants, not architects. They were instruments, not originators. Because whenever a chosen one begins to step into alignment, resistance activates. Not randomly, not emotionally, strategically. You were not being attacked because you were weak. You were being targeted because you were shifting. The moment you began evolving, something reacted. The moment you became disciplined, something noticed. The moment you stopped shrinking, something resisted. Chosen one, understand this clearly. The lies were not just social, they were spiritual. The distortion was not accidental, it was tactical. When your calling carries weight, opposition does not always arrive as confrontation. Sometimes it arrives as conversation. Sometimes it arrives as suggestion. Sometimes it arrives as concern. And slowly, your image is eroded in spaces you cannot monitor, not because they hate you personally, but because something about your destiny disrupts stagnation. But here is the twist. If the attack was allowed, it had boundaries. Nothing spoken about you escaped God's awareness. Nothing exaggerated about you escaped divine permission. The same God who allowed the test limited the damage. The same God who permitted the whisper preserved your future. You may have felt isolated, but you were not unprotected. You may have felt exposed, but you were not abandoned. Chosen one, there were things said about you that could have destroyed you publicly, but they didn't gain traction. That was not luck. That was containment. And now you're beginning to see something. Some of the people who spoke against you look tired, some look uneasy, some look distant. Because maintaining distortion requires energy, and truth has gravity. It begins to surface in small inconsistencies, in nervous body language, in awkward silence, in subtle regret. They didn't expect you to endure. They expected emotional collapse. They expected retaliation. They expected visible damage. But instead, you became stable. And when a chosen one remains stable under pressure, exposure becomes inevitable. This is not about revenge. This is about revelation. Because when God exposes a lie, He does not only correct perception, He reveals intention. Motives will surface. Patterns will be exposed. And you will realize something powerful. It was never about you being flawed. It was about you being favored. And favor makes insecure people uncomfortable. Not because you are superior, but because you are called. And chapter 4 will reveal why your silence confused them more than your success ever could. Your silence was the strategy, chosen one. They were waiting for you to react. They expected a response. They anticipated a confrontation. They prepared for emotional retaliation. But you went quiet. And your silence unsettled them more than any argument ever could, because silence removes their control. When you argue, they can twist your words. When you defend yourself, they can label you defensive. When you react emotionally, they can validate their narrative. But when you remain silent, they are left alone with their own distortion, and that is uncomfortable. Chosen one, your silence was not weakness. It was alignment. You were learning restraint. You were learning composure. You were learning that not every lie deserves your energy. But let's be honest, it wasn't easy. There were moments you wanted to speak, moments you rehearsed explanations in your mind, moments you imagined exposing them first. You had evidence, you had receipts, you had clarity. But something restrained you. Something told you, not yet. And that restraint felt heavy. Because silence can feel like surrender. Silence can feel like defeat. Silence can feel like letting them win. But what you didn't see was this. Heaven was using your silence as contrast. While they were loud, you were steady. While they were reactive, you were grounded. While they were emotional, you were disciplined, and people noticed. Maybe not immediately, maybe not dramatically, but gradually. Chosen one, Consistency exposes exaggeration. Stability exposes distortion. When someone paints you as chaotic but you remain calm, observers begin questioning the narrative. When someone labels you unstable but you remain disciplined, doubt creeps into their story. Your silence forced time to test their claims. And time is merciless to falsehood, because lies require constant reinforcement. Truth only requires patience. Here is the twist. Your silence was never about protecting them. It was about protecting you. God was strengthening your internal world before elevating your external one. Because if you had defended yourself emotionally, the exposure would have looked personal. But now, when truth surfaces, it will look divine. It will look organic. It will look undeniable. And you will not appear bitter. You will appear mature. That difference changes everything. Because vindication hits differently when you never begged for it, and something else is happening. The same people who once believed the narrative are observing your consistency. The same ones who doubted are watching your growth. And quietly, privately, some are reconsidering. Exposure does not always arrive with confrontation. Sometimes it arrives with realization. And realization spreads faster than rumor. Chosen one, your silence confused them, because they thought guilt would make you defensive. Instead, innocence made you calm. And Chapter 5 will reveal why the ones who lied are starting to feel the pressure shift. The pressure shifts. Lies begin to crack. Chosen one. Have you noticed it? That subtle change in the air? The people who once whispered about you now speak less. Their laughter doesn't carry the same confidence. Their narratives wobble. Their energy feels heavier. Why? Because lies require maintenance. Every exaggeration, every distortion, every false statement has a cost. And when the truth begins to move, the cost becomes too high. Chosen one, you may have endured months, maybe years of misrepresentation, but now the tides are turning. The same voices that plotted against you are beginning to strain under the weight of their own deception. It starts small, a slip of the tongue, a contradictory statement, a half-hearted defense, and you notice it, the way eyes shift when they speak your name. The way tension tightens their posture when your name is mentioned. They were confident once. They believed their lies would define you, but you remained steady. You stayed grounded. You allowed God to position you while they positioned themselves around falsehoods. And now the imbalance begins to show. Their stories no longer align. Their narratives conflict. The fabric of deception starts unraveling. Chosen one, this is the season of exposure. And exposure isn't instantaneous. It's strategic. It's measured. It's precise. The same God who allowed distortion also controls revelation. The same God who permitted lies to circulate also orchestrates the timing of their collapse. And here is the most powerful truth. The ones who lied never realized they were part of their own undoing. Every word spoken against you, every rumor propagated, every exaggeration shared, it all carries the energy of revelation waiting to unfold. Do not rejoice in their discomfort prematurely, chosen one, because the real victory is not in seeing them squirm. The real victory is in seeing your life aligned. The real victory is in watching divine timing orchestrate the consequences they never anticipated. And here is what is coming next. Subtle shifts, small cracks, quiet reversals, all unnoticed at first, but building toward a public reckoning. The energy is changing, the narrative is shifting, and the stage is being set for God to expose every lie they told about you. And in Chapter 6, you will see how their plans begin to backfire in ways they cannot control. Their plans backfire. Divine reversal begins. Chosen one, everything they tried to orchestrate against you begins to unravel. The conversations they carefully curated, the misrepresentations they spun, all start to collapse under the weight of truth. Chosen one, You may not see it immediately, but God's hand is actively turning their strategies against them. Every attempt to diminish you now carries evidence of their own insecurity. Every rumor they whispered begins to echo back into their own narrative. And while they celebrate what they think is their control, they are unwittingly stepping into the very exposure they hope to avoid. It is subtle at first, a misplaced comment, a contradiction in their story, a lie that no longer lines up with their actions. And the observers, those who watch, those who notice, begin questioning the reliability of their words. Chosen one, the more they speak, the more the cracks widen. The more they strategize, the more obvious the deception becomes. The very thing they relied upon to control your image is now the instrument of your vindication. God has flipped the narrative. What they meant to use to contain you now accelerates your elevation. Do you see the pattern, chosen one? Every effort to suppress your destiny is feeding its visibility. Every plot they initiated is reinforcing your resilience. Every judgment they pronounced is awakening your patience. And you are now positioned to be seen, not as reactive, not as defensive, but as faithful, disciplined, and chosen. And that is exactly what makes this reversal so powerful. It is not retaliation, it is revelation. And the twist? Those who doubted your potential feel it before you even step forward. They sense something shifting. They feel the energy of exposure pressing close, the consequence of their own words brushing their conscience. They don't know what to do. They don't know how to regain control. And the tension is unmistakable. They realize in the depth of their hearts that they miscalculated a chosen one. They misjudged someone whose timing, whose destiny, whose alignment with God could not be disrupted by human schemes. Chosen one, remember this. The same hand that allowed distortion also orchestrates the reversal. Their plans do not end your story. They accelerate its unveiling. And now, the stage is set for the public vindication that will reveal what God has preserved all along. Chapter 7 will expose the deeper layer, why even their allies are being shaken by this divine exposure. Allies and accomplices, even they are tested. Chosen one, you may have thought the battle was only against the obvious voices of opposition, the ones loud enough to challenge you openly, the ones whose whispers cut deep because they were deliberate. But no, chosen one, you are learning something profound. The people who once smiled at your back, who nodded at the lies, who validated the distortions, even they are now being tested. The allies, the accomplices, the ones who seemed aligned with the opposition, they are feeling tremors they cannot explain. The air around them is shifting. The weight of truth presses against them. Chosen one, this is not subtle. You will see it if you pay attention. Their hesitation is obvious. Their glances are fleeting. Their words, once confident, now falter under the invisible hand of divine exposure. Remember, chosen one, their alliance was never unconditional. They were loyal only to narratives that served their convenience, only to power that they could ride, only to deception that seemed profitable. And now, as God's truth begins to surface, even their carefully constructed balance begins to wobble. They are questioning. They are doubting. They are confused because the ground beneath their plans is shaking. They were co-conspirators, yes, but even co-conspirators are not immune to the power of divine correction. Chosen one, their discomfort is evidence of alignment. Their trembling is a sign that exposure is near. Their uncertainty is the first taste of the consequences they never imagined. Have you noticed it, chosen one? The subtle pauses, the moments when someone tries to speak your name but stops mid-sentence, the forced laughter that lacks warmth, the fake encouragement that carries tension instead of support. These are all signals. Chosen one, do not underestimate them. Their energy is unraveling because the foundation they built, the network of lies, half-truths, and exaggerations, is no longer supported. Each small crack in their posture, every falter in their tone, every hesitation is a reflection of the invisible justice at work. And yet many of them will try to mask it. They will act as if nothing is happening. They will pretend control. They will whisper reassurances to themselves while knowing, deep down, that the chosen one they sought to diminish has become untouchable in ways they cannot interfere with. But here is the truth, chosen one. Exposure is not limited to those who are enemies by title. Exposure extends to allies who become complacent, to companions who drift with convenience, to those who amplify false narratives simply because it serves them. They are all part of the ecosystem of deception, and God's correction will touch them all. Some of them will feel guilt. Some will feel fear. Some will scramble, attempting to distance themselves from the weight of the lies they helped propagate. But it will not be enough, chosen one. Divine timing ensures that even those who once appeared safe in their complicity are now confronted with the truth. Their discomfort is deliberate. Their awakening is necessary. Their misalignment must be revealed for your path to remain clear, for your vindication to be visible. Chosen one, you may feel compassion for them. You may feel sorrow. You may wonder, do they not see? Yes, some will see, eventually. Some will realize the consequences of their choices too late to avoid them. Others may continue in denial, but that does not change the outcome. Their awareness, or lack thereof, does not affect the inevitability of exposure. The higher the favor upon you, chosen one, the louder the disturbance becomes in their worlds. And every misstep, every half-truth, every concealed motive they relied upon now carries its own weight, now works against them, now sets the stage for your undeniable rise. Let me remind you, chosen one, this is the beauty of divine orchestration. While they plotted and schemed, God was preparing you silently, invisibly, impeccably. While they murmured behind your back, God fortified your spirit, sharpened your insight, and preserved your clarity. While they thought they could predict your failure, they did not realize they were playing into the revelation of their own exposure. And the very allies who once supported the lies, even unknowingly, are now witnesses to their own unraveling. Their presence will testify to truth when God moves. Chosen one, every uncomfortable glance, every hesitant word, every doubt that now creeps into their minds is part of the process. And there is a deeper layer, chosen one, that you must understand. Some allies will attempt damage control. They will offer apologies. They will try to realign themselves with you after the fact. Some will claim ignorance. Some will feign loyalty. But divine discernment will reveal them. God does not allow deception to continue unchallenged, even among those who appear innocent. Their motives will surface. Their timing will be exposed. And you, chosen one, will recognize who is truly aligned with your destiny and who is only present for convenience. This awareness is part of your elevation. This awareness is part of your empowerment. The same clarity that exposes the opposition also exposes the disguised accomplices. And here is the twist that will resonate. Chosen one. The more the allies wobble, the more your position strengthens. The more they question, the more their narratives collapse. The more they fear exposure, the more evident it becomes that you are untouchable in alignment with God. Every whisper they shared, every nod they offered in support of falsehood, every omission they allowed, all of it is now contributing to your vindication. The network of lies becomes a web of evidence pointing to the chosen one. They do not yet understand it. They cannot yet see it. But divine timing ensures that the revelation is inevitable. Chosen one, you have been silent, you have been patient, you have been steadfast, and now the ripple begins. The allies, the accomplices, the co-conspirators of false narratives, they are all being tested. They are all feeling pressure. They are all encountering the truth in a way they cannot manipulate. And while this may feel uncomfortable to witness, remember, it is a confirmation of your elevation. It is proof that the deception cannot withstand alignment with God. It is validation that the chosen one does not merely survive. The chosen one thrives while exposing the lies and motives of all who doubted or misrepresented them. In the next chapter, Chosen One, you will witness the public manifestation of this exposure. Lies will be confronted openly, motives revealed unmistakably, and those who sought to contain your destiny will find themselves powerless against divine revelation. Prepare yourself, Chosen One, because the season of public vindication is coming, and even the allies who once assisted the deception will now stand as testimony to God's ultimate plan. Public vindication, lies confronted, truth revealed. The time has come. The quiet patience, the endurance, the hidden faith, all converge in this moment. Every distorted word spoken about you, every misrepresented action, every false narrative constructed in rooms you never entered, all of it now approaches exposure. Chosen One, you may feel apprehension, but this is not fear. This is anticipation. Because the public manifestation of truth is always dramatic, undeniable, and transformative. What was whispered in shadows will now be confronted in light. What was hidden in silence will now be proclaimed openly. And the world will watch as God's chosen one rises while the lies collapse. You have endured months, perhaps years, of quiet observation, of calculated restraint, of measured patience. You have been misunderstood, misjudged, misrepresented. You have been written off, ignored, and doubted. Chosen One, every moment of discomfort, every pang of isolation, every night of silent reflection was preparation for this exact season. Because God's exposure is never accidental, it is never hurried, it is deliberate, and it is perfect. The same lips that lied about you, the same eyes that judged, the same hands that manipulated perception, all of them will now confront the consequences of their own words. Watch carefully, Chosen One, as the first cracks appear. The ones who spread falsehoods, who whispered distortions, will stumble. Their narratives will collide with reality. Their carefully constructed stories will contradict observable truth. And the witnesses, those who were silent observers, will start to notice inconsistencies. Their doubt will grow. Their nervous glances will betray their awareness. Every attempt to maintain control will backfire. The same allies who tried to support deception will hesitate. Their attempts at justification will falter. Their explanations will sound hollow. Chosen One, the stage is set for a divine unmasking that cannot be denied. And here is what makes this public vindication so powerful. It is not based on your aggression. It is not dependent on your reaction. It is based on your faith, your patience, your integrity. The exposure works because it is orchestrated by God, not by you. Chosen One, the difference is striking. When God exposes a lie, it is not with personal bitterness or emotion. It is with precision, clarity, and undeniable evidence. The world will not question the truth. They will question the motives of those who lied. The liars will feel the weight of their own words before you ever need to speak. Witness now, Chosen One, how the environment begins to shift. The people who doubted you will seek excuses. They will try to justify their past statements. They will look for ways to mitigate embarrassment. But the evidence of your alignment with divine purpose is visible. Your actions, your perseverance, your composure, all of it contrasts sharply with their instability. And Chosen One, it is the contrast that brings revelation. When lies meet truth, truth always prevails. And when the Chosen One stands in alignment, The false narratives cannot endure. Do not underestimate the power of perception, chosen one. As truth surfaces, those who once doubted will feel a combination of awe, fear, and regret. Allies will reassess their loyalties. Observers will question their assumptions. Even the most confident skeptics will struggle to explain why the chosen one, the one they labeled, misjudged, and misrepresented, now stands undeniable, elevated, and empowered. Chosen one, this is a pivotal moment. The lies of the past are not erased. They are corrected, reframed, and exposed to the light. And in that exposure, the world witnesses the magnitude of divine orchestration. But here is the twist, chosen one. The exposure does not only affect the liars, it transforms you. The public vindication is not merely a correction of narrative, it is an affirmation of identity. It solidifies the chosen one in their destiny. It confirms the endurance, the restraint, and the unwavering faith that has carried you through deception, misjudgment, and betrayal. And chosen one, with every revelation, the pattern becomes clear. Those who opposed you, those who doubted you, those who amplified falsehoods, also and serve as witnesses to your elevation. Their influence diminishes, your influence grows, and yet chosen one, remain vigilant. This exposure is powerful, but it is also strategic. God uses public revelation not only to correct perception, but to inspire alignment. The chosen one who walks with integrity in the face of falsehood becomes a beacon. Those who were complacent, hesitant, or misaligned are compelled to observe, reflect, and either correct their path or face the consequences of continued opposition. And chosen one, this is why patience has always been your greatest weapon. The timing of exposure is not coincidental, it is divine. Finally, chosen one, let this season imprint upon your spirit. Public vindication is not about boasting, it is about alignment. It is about allowing God to reveal truth in ways that cannot be manipulated, hidden, or denied. The liars, the skeptics, the hesitant allies, all will see what was once invisible, and the world will recognize the chosen one unmistakably as someone who endured, persevered, and remained faithful. And in that recognition, the lies of the past dissolve, replaced by clarity, authority, and divine affirmation. Chapter 9 will reveal the aftermath, how your elevation changes the environment, alters relationships, and shifts destiny for all involved. The aftermath. Elevation alters the environment. Chosen one. The moment of public vindication has passed, but the effects are only beginning to ripple. You may notice the air feels different around you. Spaces that once carried tension now feel lighter. Conversations that once hid whispers now carry awareness. The world you inhabit begins to shift, not because you demanded it, but because alignment with God transforms everything it touches. Chosen one, your elevation is not a solitary phenomenon. It alters environments, relationships, and even the intentions of those who once opposed you. The exposure of lies does more than correct narratives. It redefines the energy surrounding you. And those who underestimated you are forced to confront the reality they tried to manipulate. Observe closely, chosen one. The same allies who once wavered are now recalibrating. They hesitate, unsure whether to approach or stay distant. Their loyalties are tested because they now see the consequences of misalignment. Every word they once whispered carries weight. Every act of complicity reflects upon them. Some will attempt reconciliation. Others will retreat in quiet shame. The exposure of falsehoods brings clarity, and clarity forces choice. Chosen one, notice the subtle shifts. Respect replaces skepticism. Hesitancy turns to observation, and silent acknowledgement replaces past derision. These changes are not random. They are divine consequences unfolding in real time, a manifestation of what happens when the Chosen One stands aligned while opposition falters. And yet, Chosen One, do not mistake this for comfort. The aftermath of exposure is heavy with lessons. Some who doubted will never admit their misjudgment. Some who lied will never confess fully. The environment is now filled with observers, some cautious, some envious, all watching closely. Your reputation has been clarified, your truth revealed, and your identity affirmed, but the dynamics around you have shifted forever. Chosen One, this is the nature of divine correction. It does not merely restore, it restructures. Relationships, alliances, and even personal perceptions are altered. Those who were once complicit now serve as evidence of your endurance and God's orchestration. Their discomfort becomes a backdrop to your alignment. Chosen One, watch as influence begins to gravitate toward you. The energy of your elevation attracts attention from unexpected quarters. People who once ignored you now observe carefully. Mentors, visionaries, and individuals aligned with divine purpose are drawn to your presence. Opportunities that were once inaccessible now open. Doors that were closed begin to shift. And in this space, the Chosen One must remain vigilant. Exposure of lies is not a license for pride, it is a platform for purpose. Every relationship, every encounter, every observation in your environment now carries heightened significance. The ripples of vindication extend beyond personal satisfaction. They transform the collective awareness of your sphere. And here is the twist. Chosen One, not all changes are immediately visible. Some effects are subtle, shifts in perception, quiet acknowledgement, and internal recognition among peers. Others are pronounced, altered authority, public affirmation, and open acknowledgement of your contributions. But all serve the same divine purpose, to demonstrate that the Chosen One's alignment cannot be suppressed by lies, manipulation, or doubt. Every interaction now carries potential for revelation or reflection. Every presence in your environment becomes a measure of truth versus deception. Chosen One, observe closely. The same forces that sought to diminish you now contribute to a world that affirms your alignment and highlights the contrast between faithfulness and falsehood. And yet, the true power of this aftermath is not in the reactions of others. The true power resides in the Chosen One's own understanding. Your endurance, restraint, and alignment now serve as a foundation for continued influence. You have witnessed the unraveling of lies, the faltering of allies, and the exposure of deceptive intent. You have endured the whispers, navigated the manipulation, and preserved integrity. And now, the environment itself bends subtly toward your presence. People sense it. Observers recognize it. Even opponents, while resistant, cannot deny it. Chosen One, this is the reward of alignment, the quiet yet undeniable reshaping of the world around you in accordance with God's favor. Finally, Chosen One, understand this. The aftermath is not an ending. It is a transition, a threshold, a platform. The public vindication of your identity sets the stage for a future where your influence, authority, and destiny are undeniable. Relationships will continue to shift, some strengthening, others fading. Enemies will recalculate, some attempting alignment, others remaining distant. Allies will be tested further, and your discernment will continue to guide interactions. But the principle remains clear. Chosen Ones are defined not by opposition, but by alignment, endurance, and the revelation of truth. And in this aftermath, Chosen One, you are positioned above every distortion, every manipulation, every lie that once threatened to contain you. Chapter 10 will close this journey, revealing the ultimate destiny of the Chosen One, where divine favor, purpose, and authority converge in unshakable triumph. Ultimate destiny. The chosen one. Ascends. Chosen one. The season you have endured, the lies you have survived, the manipulations you have withstood, all of it converges now into a moment of divine culmination. This is the threshold where history, prophecy, and alignment meet. Chosen one, this is your destiny made visible. The whispers of the past, the judgments of the ignorant, the conspiracies of the envious, they all collide into revelation. Every distorted word spoken against you, every shadow that attempted to diminish your light, now becomes a testimony of your endurance, your faith, and your unwavering alignment with God. You were chosen not to react, not to argue, not to retaliate, but to rise. And rise you have. Feel it, chosen one. The weight of expectation, the invisible scrutiny, the quiet trials, they all form the foundation for this elevation. It is not sudden, and it is not accidental. It is intentional, orchestrated by divine timing. Every misjudgment, every act of betrayal, every lie was allowed to refine you, to strengthen you, and to prepare you for the visibility that is now inevitable. The world will see you, not as they wished, not as they imagined, but as you truly are, chosen, prepared, and unstoppable. Chosen one, there is power in this moment that cannot be contested, and the enemies, the doubters, the hesitant allies, they sense it before you even speak. You notice their unease, their calculations falter, their once confident predictions wobble. They watch as your influence grows, your authority solidifies, and your presence commands attention. Chosen one, this is no coincidence. This is divine orchestration. The very energy that they attempted to suppress now flows through you, unstoppable, undeniable, radiant. Their past lies and distortions do not vanish. They amplify the contrast. The darker the shadows they cast, the brighter your alignment shines. But here is the first twist. Chosen one, your ascent is not for spectacle alone. It is for purpose. Every opportunity that arises, every door that opens, every recognition that comes your way is not for ego. It is for mission. It is for service. It is for the unfolding of destiny that only the chosen one can fulfill. The visibility you now command must be wielded with wisdom, discernment, and humility. The exposure of those who misrepresented you is a byproduct, not a goal. Your elevation is a tool, a platform, and a testament to divine faithfulness. Chosen one, remember this always. Your ascent carries responsibility beyond personal vindication. The second twist is this. The ripple effect is profound. The environment itself changes. People who previously ignored, doubted, or undermined you are now participants in the revelation of your alignment. Some will attempt reconciliation. Some will distance themselves. Some will quietly acknowledge the truth. But all are witnesses. Even those who never believed in you are now forced to confront divine reality. Chosen one, influence is the natural byproduct of alignment, and the chosen one, through steadfast endurance, transforms not only personal destiny, but also the environment, shaping perception, energy, and opportunity around them. And here is the deeper revelation. Chosen one, your past trials, the betrayals, the lies, the silences, all were forming a pattern of preparation. Every confrontation, subtle or overt, was calibrating your discernment. Every misrepresentation, every exaggeration was shaping your patience. Every hidden manipulation was refining your awareness. You are not just surviving, you are mastering. You are not just ascending, you are claiming a divine inheritance prepared for the chosen one. The exposure of lies was never the end. It was the mechanism that propelled you into destiny. Now, chosen one, the first part of your ultimate destiny becomes clear. You are elevated above deception. You are fortified against manipulation. You are unshakable in purpose. You are visible to the world in alignment with God. And those who opposed, underestimated, or misjudged you, their narratives now exist only as testimony of your endurance and divine orchestration. The divine authority. 2. Chosen one's legacy. Chosen one. Now the world sees you fully. The elevation you have achieved is not just visibility, it is authority. Not authority granted by titles, position, or approval of men, but authority confirmed by divine alignment. Every lie spoken against you, every distortion circulated in shadows, every whisper intended to diminish you, all of it now serves as evidence of your endurance, your faithfulness, and the inevitability of the chosen one's triumph. Chosen one, you are more than vindicated. You are positioned. Your legacy begins here. Your influence is undeniable. And those who once doubted you cannot deny the manifestation of what was always meant for you. Feel it, chosen one. The energy around you shifts with every step. The people who once sought to misrepresent you now observe cautiously. Their whispers are replaced with awkward acknowledgement. Their conspiracies falter, their alliances wobble, and yet you remain steadfast. Not because of pride, not because of triumph over them, but because of understanding. The chosen one knows that exposure is a reflection of alignment, and alignment is a reflection of God's faithfulness. Every public revelation reinforces your destiny. Every confirmation strengthens your authority. Every acknowledgement, whether explicit or silent, validates the perseverance of the chosen one. And here's the twist, chosen one. The culmination of exposure brings influence, but influence carries responsibility. Your elevation is not merely personal, it alters the trajectory of others. Opportunities now align with divine purpose. Relationships shift in ways previously unseen. The energy of your alignment draws those prepared to support, those ready to learn, and even those who resisted, now repositioned to witness truth. The chosen one's victory is public, but it is purposeful. It serves a larger design, to establish divine authority where deception once reigned, to confirm God's hand in every trial, and to solidify the path of destiny. Observe the pattern, chosen one. Even former detractors now witness your growth and alignment. Some attempt reconciliation, some attempt distance, some silently acknowledge reality. Yet the consistency of your integrity distinguishes the chosen one from opportunists. The trials, the silences, the endurance, all of it now culminates in a visible demonstration of divine favor. And the world begins to recognize a simple truth. The chosen one does not falter under lies. The chosen one does not crumble under opposition. The chosen one thrives while revealing the intentions of those who misjudged them. The second twist is profound. Chosen one. Elevation does not erase the past. It repurposes it. Every act of betrayal, every misrepresentation, every moment of doubt cast by others becomes a marker of your resilience. The lies, once burdensome, now illuminate the path of destiny. The whispers that sought to silence you now echo as testimony of endurance. Every person who attempted to manipulate, to diminish, or to misjudge now participates unwittingly in the narrative of the chosen one's triumph. Chosen one. This is the full measure of divine orchestration. Your rise validates purpose, exposes deception, and amplifies destiny simultaneously. And here is the ultimate revelation, chosen one. You are positioned not only for vindication, but for influence, authority, and legacy. The people who doubted you, opposed you, or misrepresented you will now bear witness to your consistency, your integrity, and your alignment. Their narratives, once designed to diminish, now serve as contrast to highlight your truth. Your endurance becomes a teaching. Your patience becomes a testament. Your silence becomes a strategy. The chosen one's journey is now visible, undeniable, and irreversible. Finally, chosen one, understand this. The ultimate destiny is not simply survival. It is sovereignty over what was once opposed. It is authority over environments shaped by divine purpose. It is influence that cannot be shaken by human opinion. And it is the clarity of alignment that guarantees every step forward is irreversible. Chosen one, you are no longer defined by lies. You are defined by purpose. You are no longer contained by opposition. You are elevated by God. And this elevation will continue to grow, touching the lives of those aligned with truth, exposing those aligned with deception, and confirming beyond doubt that the chosen one cannot be stopped. Chosen one, walk forward now. Your legacy begins today. Your influence spreads tomorrow. And the world, whether ready or not, must acknowledge what God has prepared. The lies are exposed. The truth reigns. And the chosen one has claimed their place in destiny, unshakable, undeniable, eternal.